So good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today. I want to thank and the board for inviting me. And isn't it a wonderful day with nice ocean breezes? And they reminded us of the calm within the center of ourselves. And I enjoyed that so much. Thank you, Gina. My talk today is called Imperfection and Serendipity, because I think these things go together. And there's this wonderful book that Brene Brown wrote, The Gifts of Imperfection. Are some of you familiar with that book? Yeah, I love that book. And the theme that CSL gave us this week is called And Still I Rise. And I think that goes along with this topic also. And I'll also share a story about how I had a serendipitous experience in spite of perceived imperfections. When you commit yourself to being perfectly imperfect, you come to appreciate risk-taking as a process of discovery, full of shortfalls and setbacks, but also full of serendipity and satisfaction. And that quote came from a group called Giant Leap Consulting. I love that name, Giant Leap Consulting. So what stands in the way becomes the way. As Brene Brown said, you are imperfect, but worthy of love and belonging. Imperfections are not inadequacies. Sometimes things come together for good when we least expect it. We might think we're on the wrong path, or we got up on the wrong side of the bed, or we're not good enough to be a rock star or the next Elon Musk. Sometimes things look all wrong, but they become all right. And from that great teacher of teachers, Emma Curtis Hopkins, I love her work. She wrote something called the Radiant I Am. There shall be no lack or disappointed effort, and all shall rise and have self-respect from this day on. I, from my center, am a radiance of upbearing sustainment through all this universe. Courage and fear actually coexist. Vulnerability is the new strength. I just wanted to share a story of how everything came together for good in my life. During the pandemic, I decided to enroll in this class. It was for certification in therapeutic singing by Eliana Gilad. And I thought, well, that would be a great thing. And we studied various things about how to center, just as we do here, how to make tones. And it was an interesting study. And at one point, she said, you need to choose an accountability partner. And there were people in the class from all over. There was someone from France, England, Ireland, Mexico, Canada, and Southern California. And the lady from France asked to be my study partner. And I thought, oh my God, it's like France is 9 hours different. I learned that she was an art history major, and I thought, oh my God, and she lives in Paris, and I thought, oh, someone from Paris would be so sophisticated. How could I ever talk to them? But as it turned out, she was actually quite a nice person, and she grew up in New Orleans. She married a Frenchman and ended up living in France. That's what happened. But it's amazing how we have trepidations about things that don't really matter. And 9 hours time difference? Oh, come on, I'm a night owl and she's a morning person. So we worked that out. That worked out good. Her name is Lauren Rose. She likes roses. She has roses in her garden and she posts them on Facebook a lot. So we worked together. We learned how to connect on Zoom, and that was another barrier because I assumed, well, everyone else knows how to initiate a Zoom call. So I don't have to bother with that. Well, she didn't know. And I thought, oh, okay, so I'm going to have to figure this out. And normally I consult my children when I try to figure something like that out. But I looked it up online, and I figured out how to initiate a Zoom call. And I thought, oh, my God! And it led to amazing things. So we connected about once every 2 weeks on Zoom, and we did our homework together, and we also had to record videos and post them on our Facebook group. And that was a new thing for me too. I really didn't know how to do that, but I figured it out. Things do work together if you keep your eye on the direction you want to go. And then Lauren told me she was going to come to Los Angeles, that she was going to study with someone for a week here. And I thought, oh, that's great, so I'll just meet her. So here, we had worked together for a year online, on Zoom. I'd never seen her in person. And I met her in person, and she was just as delightful as she was on Zoom. So that was a great realization for me, that it's just amazing. And we met each other at the farmer's market at 3rd and Fairfax, and also the teacher of the class came and met with us too. So it was just a great coming together, a great serendipity. And the other thing that happened, she said, let's go out to eat. She had read about this restaurant called the Rose Venice, which is in Venice. Maybe some of you are familiar with that. I didn't know about it. But we went there and had a wonderful meal. And at the next table was a group of Australians and Americans and a lot of nice energy. And we had conversations with each other. And then the waiter came over and told us that they paid for our dinner. So I thought, wow, that's serendipity right there. Something I certainly didn't expect, And in the past, I would have thought, what do we have to do for that? But they didn't expect anything from us, so that was nice. So, despite our imperfections, we can achieve a perfection of sort together in a serendipitous way. And from the Science of Mind, trust life. Life is good. God is good. Just accept this and enjoy it. We're meeting God every day in the rising sun, in the flowing stream, in the ocean waves, in the budding rose, in the joy of friendship and love, and in the silence of our own soul. We meet each other. That subtle presence flows through all things, gifting us with light and joy. We are for a forever expanding principle of conscious intelligence and love. The highest God and the innermost God is one God. We don't want to be vulnerable. As Brene Brown put it, we don't want to suck at everything. When change comes, the best approach is just to ride the wave, even though it can be uncomfortable. And we think something should have happened that didn't happen, or it should have happened this way and it didn't. Maybe we just need to pause and take a reality check sometimes. Maybe nothing is going to happen the way that I actually planned it. Like John Lennon said, life is what happens when we're busy making other plans. I recently heard a pop star's comment. It was on a Late Show. He said, with this stay-at-home order, I had to learn to live with myself. And I began to reflect, do I like myself? If we only do things we're good at, we stop growing and truly living. Being new at something can expose our vulnerability. We would rather just fast forward and skip all the hard parts. We might worry about what people think. Brene Brown says, embrace the suck. Normalizing discomfort is the foundation of courage. We get braver. We come out on the other side. This too shall pass. It can help to just name what we're feeling or name what we're experiencing. Then we can have more power over it. Recently, Celine Dion, the wonderful Canadian songstress, put out a music video called Imperfections from her Courage album, with the theme of being enough to accept all of our flaws. Some of the lines from this are, I got my own imperfections, and I need to learn to trust myself. And on this music video, Celine even appears without her makeup. I came across a blog called Harvest Letters, the home blog. It was a collection of musings which resonated with some of my experiences. And what she said is, "Let me be the first to tell you about my imperfections. I make a mess, I ruin the dinner, I say the wrong things, I can't keep a plant alive, nor a goldfish. But that doesn't stop me from trying. I laugh at the chaos of it all. And I know a lot of times it's just good to just laugh. It's so healing to laugh. That's why they developed this laughter yoga. I think it's very beneficial." So she continues, "I sing along with the songs on the radio and I mess up all the words, but I don't care, I just keep singing anyway. I also would like to tell you about my heavy heart, how much I struggle with the weight of the broken world and the hope of heaven." And she also includes this Bible verse from Galatians 6:9. "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." That's serendipity. We keep trying. We don't give up. And I was reminded of a song that was used in the Civil Rights March. "Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. I am whole, complete, and perfect, just as I am. It's also perfect that there are many things that I'm not. I'm not Scarlett Johansson, Celine Dion, or Nancy Pelosi. I admire all those people. But I'm me. I'm whole, complete, and perfect just as I am. I accept this. I live this. Look out, because here I come." Have you seen the movie The Greatest Showman? About a traveling circus of what we might call deformed misfits. There is a song called "This Is Me." And so some of the lines are, "I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me." That inspires me. I was watching the story of Carlton Pearson. Maybe you know about him. There's a movie on Netflix called Come Sunday, and it's just wonderful, inspiring work. He was a student of Oral Roberts and was set to be his successor. But he started getting this. He was in a fundamental evangelical Christianity. And he had this realization that a loving God is not going to send people to hell. and of course, then all his congregation started leaving. Oral Roberts abandoned him and everything. But as eventually, people like New Thought embraced his ideas, and he's actually done very well since he had this change of intuition. So what we call imperfection is really perfection. I mean, I could imagine that Carlton Pearson at that point must have thought that, it was over. He had been very successful as a minister. He'd published books. He had a huge congregation. And most of them disappeared because they didn't want to go along with his new insight because they'd been taught for years the other way. But he held on to his dream and has found a new perfection in that. And it continues the CSL theme, and still I rise, just like the phoenix rising out of the ashes. Creative law within you knows, and not only knows, but guides your actions and opportunities at the right time. And this is from the Science of Mind. It synchronizes all impulses that manifest as life experiences. It is its nature to do so. It could not be otherwise. Dwell on the wonder of this knowing intelligence, which works out the scheme of our beautiful life. Realize that perfection is at work despite appearances. Forming and projecting into the objective world are beautiful life experiences. And I just want to do a little benediction with you. I know there's only one power and one presence in this universe, and that is God the good, universal spirit, whatever you want to call it. I'm one with that power in the universe, as everyone is one with that power. And I accept all good coming into my life. I accept that the appearances of imperfection are changing into serendipity in my great, good, and wonderful life. And I give thanks for us all being together, and I release this to divine natural law. And so it is.